I was a witness when Pakistan unleashed its terror on our parliament building. I was a journalist at that time. I was there in the parliament. So they have gone far. The terror has been taken. And terror, when it becomes part of the state policy, that's very dangerous. When the terror has a nuclear backing, it's all the more dangerous. So this is a time when we all need to come together. So our mission has been very simple, to convey the message to all the nations that India wants peace and they should never be neutral or silent on this cardinal aspect of terror being inflicted on us.
There's a reason why I muted this video at this point in time, as it is rolling. Okay, it's because I want some time. So in about a minute or so, the camera will swing towards the diaspora. So this is the only one among all the 7 that went all over the place that swung over to the Indian community in the visiting nation. So this happens to be Malaysia, okay, where there's a larger number of Indians, and that may be the reason why the camera was interested in swinging. And I suspect in all other places the crowd may have been very small, so that's why they did not want to show it. Okay, that's my suspicion. But besides that, it's kind of interesting. In this case, the crowd that went over to Japan, followed by South Korea, went to Indonesia, Singapore, and then comes to Malaysia. And here they're going to take questions from the people. They're going to swing over, you will see the people. I think they allowed only about 2 or 3 questions from the diaspora, for the crowd, the Malaysian Indians who gathered there in Kuala Lumpur. And at this point in time, they were fumbling with the phones, the microphone and all that. So one was speaking in Hindi and so on. So you will hear the questions, but that's not important. The reason why I'm swinging over this one, this is the only place this many Indians have come and where the camera shows them. So that question was asked about Sindoor, what happened, what next? That was the question. But that question was not answered, so they swing over to another guy who is a Indian Muslim. Of course, he's Malaysian, all right. So he talks a little bit passionately about the love of India and so on. So there's no problem with that. The Indians in Malaysia, Indian Muslims, are just as Indian as anybody else. And many of them actually were Indians long before the partition happened. So the IC originally used to say that they are of Indian origin. Even Pakistanis were listed as Indian origin. Of course, this one is of true Indian. Okay, so let's hear him, part of him, what he says.
Delighted to see such a great content from all party delegation to Malaysia. Excellency, being a Malaysian and Islam, what hurts India will hurt us. Very simple, because as an Indian Muslim population of 850,000 people lives in Malaysia, we have a lot of roots and connected, and relatives who stays in India, and we have very much financial, economic activity that happens in India. As a Muslim, Islam preaches no one has a right to kill anyone. If anyone kills that, it is of killing the whole of mankind. This is what Islam preaches us. And we strongly condone terrorism. We have no tolerance for people take advantage of that. And with that, for that context, I want to give a special credit to the government of India for taking initiative on a speedy initiative to address those and protect the lives of the people of India. I'm sure that this is a very strong signal the government of India has given to just not only to Pakistan, anybody who wants to take advantage of that posture in India. I think once again, kudos to that. My dear Excellencies who have come all the way from India, this is a message I just wanted to push it up. So I think Indians, or I mean Muslims of the world don't tolerate terrorism. Neither you're being in India, you're being in any part of the world. I think Malaysia, we are very blessed with a 35 million population of 2.2 million Indians living in Malaysia. We're very fortunate, we're very peace-loving, and there's no tolerance among us for any kind of inequalities or difference of race and religion. I have very close contacts with my friends from the government of Prime Minister Modi's government. My friends are all from different race and different religion. So we don't enjoy that fact of that Muslims, admire terrorism. Then to me, either you're from outside the country, inside the country. Once the father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi ji, mentioned in his quote that if you're a minority, even you're a truth is a truth. The responsibility of the majority of government is to protect the minorities. This is the principles of democracy and human rights. So I think my personal plea to the Prime Minister of Modi, who is a world leader and everybody look upon him, I think as a Muslim, as a Islam, my personal request to the Prime Minister Modi is to not just only curb the terrorism outside the country of India. Anybody who has the potential right to kill any individual in the country should be considered as a terrorist, not only outside India. So that's my personal humble, but once again, I'm very privileged for this session, honored that the country has taken a very deep and a speedy step to address this. Thank you so much. No, it's not a question, Excellency.
Yeah.
I just want to condemn and give my appreciation to what you have done. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sir. Sir would like to.
Since this guy was answering back in Hindi, I will translate what he was saying. He was not addressing it exactly. He said, what Modi said is that Sindhu is not really over. As long as there's another attack he was saying what he wanted to say. As long as there's another attack from Pakistan, India will give back to Pakistan what Pakistan really deserves. So that's all he said. Because he was saying it in Hindi, so I had to translate that for you in a quick way.
And the ruling party both. दोनों मिल करके very very gracious for opposition party also to be part of the delegation, and we are talking in the same voice everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think there are a few more questions that are coming up. Aradhana, you want to say something? Come.
Thank you, sir.
Aradhana, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, sorry. I'm Aradhana from the Times of India. I have two very quick questions. One to Sanjay ji, that now that you're drawing similarities between India and Malaysia, secular, multi-ethnic, I think John ji mentioned here. So what exactly are you now looking from the government of Malaysia? So this is your last leg of the tour. Do you expect the government of Malaysia to say something now or give a reaction, one? And second, I would give this question to John because the media narrative, is that, we lost the communication war in the beginning of the, would you need to comment on that, please? Just very quickly. Thank you.
For your first question,
There's one major problem at this point in time. Now the camera is not turning around. This is a time when the woman is speaking. She's from Times of India. So we can't see her. Now they are not turning the camera around, so we don't know how she looks like and what is she, but we can hear her. So that is what I'm translating. And she's asking what do India expect from Malaysia, and also addresses this guy, his name is John, and ask him, was there a communication error by India failed to communicate to the rest of the world, which we all know.
the Prime Minister has condemned it, the Malaysian Prime Minister. We are thankful for that. As far as what we want from Malaysia, one, Malaysia is member of OIC country. India has the largest Muslim population after Indonesia. So in OIC meeting, Pakistan at times passed resolution against India. So they should support us there. They should support our stand in OIC meeting. That is one.
and second, the financial action task force, which keep in a grey list and blacklist to those countries who sponsor and finance terrorist group. So they should support us because Pakistan was there in the grey list before. So they should support us there. When there will be meeting, they should support put Pakistan in the grey list. We are thankful to, yes, he's right, we are very, very thankful to Malaysian government to support. They have already supported India's permanent membership in United Nations Security Council.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
He's not very clear, but he said something about the Malaysian Prime Minister, that he was helpful or something of that sort. And then what do they need from Malaysia? That the Malaysia is part of the OIC, so he needs support from to Malaysia in that regard. So essentially, he's saying that he wants Malaysia to keep a tab of how Pakistan is getting funds and being financed, and Malaysia should pay attention to those things. And indirectly, he's saying that Malaysia should not be funding terrorists on a religious ground. That's the whole message for every Muslim country. These guys are all not very good at, they don't have good communication skills, so that's why it's lacking. It's terrible at times. Even when they seem to be speaking English, you need translation and interpretation. So the last part was about supporting India as a permanent seat in the UN or something of that sort.
Honorable Lanky, sir, kindly.
Just as PM Saab said, Operation Sindoor hasn't concluded. The communication war also hasn't concluded. So now you're absolutely correct that there has been a slant in favor of Pakistan, at least in certain countries. We also have experienced that. That is because of the predominant influence of the Western media. Because many of the papers, newspapers and the television pick up feeds from the international agencies like Reuters, AP, AFP, and the syndicate columns from New York Times, Washington Post, etc. And the purpose of this visit also was to straighten up, put the records correct. And our leader has got some ideas how to continue with the narrative, and he will be submitting a report to the government of India also. So we will take inputs from you, we have already taken, and that would be applied when we plan further. Thank you.
Now John decides to reply and explains, he admits that the Operation Sindoor has not concluded. He makes a statement like that. And so the PM also, meaning Prime Minister Modi also has concluded the operation has not concluded, and that they admit that the messaging has not been very good, and he's blaming it all on the Western bias, and he's blaming it on the Reuters and Washington Post and everybody else, and you're taking an escape route. They will take this message back to India, and that is the message. That is what he was saying here. Okay? He was just making an excuse and getting away from there. Yeah, just addressing that lady's question. We don't get to see anymore. We are not swinging around anymore, so we don't get to who is asking the question. At least you are getting a good interpretation of the English they speak. It needs to be interpreted.
Well, I think we have time for one last question. I think, that the Bhopal trial, please.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. First and foremost, I come from the Gujarati Association, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. First of all, I would like to, sort of extend our deepest appreciation for all for having taken this initiative to update us. However, my view is going to be a little different. I feel over the 4 or 5 decades, we have seen, we've experienced the attitude of Pakistan. They have never changed. They attacked Parliament, Taj, many other events. And if today Pahalgam teaches us anything, it teaches us one very important lesson. We have to be Atmanirbhar. We have to take care of ourselves. The whole world are going to pay you lip service only. Whether it's United States, whether it's United Kingdom, none of them are going to be with you. Our people are dying. We feel the pain. I'm a Malaysian. My ancestors come from India. By some coincidence, I am born in the village where Jinnah was born. I'm born in Moti Paneli, Gujarat. I am a true Malaysian, but I'm also an Indian. My blood boils when innocent people are killed in cold blood. While you have come here for some understanding, some explanation, you want to enjoy peace, there's a saying, prepare for war. You must be strong. India must think strong, walk strong, talk strong. We are a superpower. So I think it's very important. That's my message. God bless India.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. The other group which has gone, the 7 other groups, accordingly from all the party members are there, putting India's view. Purpose of this visit too, I don't want to make it long. Purpose is very simple. India is growing like anything. We are the 4th largest economy of the world. Few days back only it has been announced that the 4th largest economy of the world. And there is an attack on 22nd April in Pahalgam. 26 people were killed. They were segregated on religious line. All were males. They have asked, their families were there, their kids were there. They were shot from close range. And then India waited for 2 weeks because all those 4 terrorists come from Pakistan. It's a cross-border terrorism. They were trained like this. And you know, in last 3, 4, 5 years, the kind of tourism was going on in Jammu and Kashmir. It's unbelievable. How so many people were visiting Kashmir and kind of support. Even after this incident, the entire Kashmiri people have come on road against this heinous crime. They segregated on religious land so that there will be communal disharmony in the country. Nothing has happened in the entire country after all this. Then after 2 weeks, Indian Air Force attacked their terror base. There are 9 terror infrastructure bases in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir that were attacked.
But this much I have to conclude. I had to truncate it there. The rest of the message you get it from everywhere else, where they're telling the attack and Pahalgam attack and how they retaliated and all that. That all everybody knows. So what we wanted to see was the Indian crowd in each location. Among all the countries, 7 delegates go around the world. Malaysia happens to be the biggest number of Indians that gathered. Usually they go to the embassy and they gather there, and the delegation is met by previously when they're meeting heads of state or government or representatives, very little coverage is shown or nothing covered at all. Maybe they don't want it to be covered. When it comes to India, I mean Singapore, Nothing was covered. Although we know from news, indirect news, that they met with the Indian, even in Malaysia, they met with the Malaysian Indian Congress, MIC, that is the Indian party, and they met here also. They met with several ministers and so on, all in private, and they met with a few representatives. They met with the diaspora. Nothing covered. None of that is on YouTube. Okay, so that is the interesting thing. Malaysia happens to be the last leg, whether be they were to go Colombia, Guyana, Russia, anywhere. They didn't show any many Indians there. Either they don't have many there, or they didn't want to show. Malaysia is the only place where they turned around and showed all of them. And because maybe ANI was not in control there, that part may have been handled by somebody else. ANI was very locked down, um, secretive, not letting out the news for some good reasons, because they want to get coverage, have to be verified, go back, edit it. In terms of communication, India has done a pretty bad job. Even in this in this session, somebody asked a thing and John answered that. They have been pretty poor at communicating to the rest of the world. Instead of going around the world, India could have easily done this very well from India itself. They are poor at it. We heard enough of what happened. We have a good clue of who they met and all that in terms of Singapore, but no pictures, no nothing. There was total blanket ban of anything being published or anything being even recorded. The government agencies might have made some records, but nothing for the public, nothing for the world to see. And by all means, India did not do enough. It was not patient enough. Should have known that covert operation is the only way to deal with Pakis, terrorists, and the military that supports and harbors terrorists. The government is controlled by the military, and hence the whole of Pakistan is to be treated as the same, as a whole bunch of terrorists, nothing else. There is no difference between any of those. If possible, nuke them. That's all. I'm proud of the Malaysians, a few Malaysians who had the guts to stand up and say what they said there. They were willing to be seen, be counted with no fear at all. And they said what they had to say. And there was, and I never saw this anywhere else, and that is what makes it unique. Either the camera crew made an error, or this was not ANI alone. This was the global Indian or something like that. So that might have explained that. Anyway, it was interesting.